Coming up in this video, how to overcome imposter syndrome. Today, we're going to be breaking down overcoming imposter syndrome. If you're new, consider subscribing, click that bell, and you'll be good to go.
So, hey guys, this is episode 5 of our imposter syndrome little series we did for you. So before we get into the good stuff, I'm going to lay something on you. We are entering an age of purpose. More and more people are searching for purpose, like purposeful work, purposeful relationships, all kinds of purpose.
Inquiring minds want to know, what is my purpose?
So, a matter of fact, you guys know I like my studies. There was a study done showing that there are 50% more people searching for purpose in life in the Google machine over the last 4 years than ever before.
And that's important to know, because to get to your purpose, you have to stop feeling like a fraud and start feeling confident. And that's what we're covering today.
So guys, as you come on, let us know that you can hear us and see us. And as you come on, we always like to pick your brains about what your favorite food is and where you are from. So drop that in the comments so we have new ideas for dinner.
Because we like food, and you'll get bonus points for the most interesting food choice. We want to know what your favorite food is. And if it's not common, break it down. A recipe would help.
Like it's some sort of like German schnickerdoodle from outer space or something. So guys, we do like to know this stuff because we like to know our Zen heads a little bit better all over the world. So
we're doing like this real quick. And
David's doing some tech things. So stay with us for the whole video, guys, because we want to help you understand what imposter syndrome is and how to put the imposter in its place.
And while that's going to be entertaining,
we hope, we're going to try to entertain you.
We know, because we're entertainers. The real reason you should stick around is because of the mind-blowing resource that we're going to be sharing to take your confidence from basic to badass in 90 seconds, but only if it fits for you. We've got an amazing opportunity for you guys to literally steal our brains. And we'll get to that at the end.
I don't really want you to steal my brain, but I hate it when people, I want, my life's mission is for you not to be basic. So that's what we're all about. So for those of you guys that do not know us yet, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
Yes.
Helping people create
badass lives. That's how we do. So here's a little bit about us. Since 2008, together as a team, we've helped thousands of clients go from being overwhelmed, stressed out, basic, and insecure to confident, purposeful, and empowered.
And if you guys have just found us, congratulations.
And welcome.
You have just found the secret weapon for your badass life.
So modest every time. Just
absolutely.
He's my guy. So anyway, stick with us and watch as your insecurities and fears do go screaming for the hills. That's our goal working with you guys. So through our work with these clients we've had all over the world since 2008, we noticed this huge gap in what was being taught by a lot of the influencers in our niche that seemed to be doing the same rinse and repeat thing everybody else was doing.
But we are not trying to be the next cookie cutter gurus.
Like I said, basic is what I'm allergic to. So what we noticed was that some people taught all the cool intuitive techniques like being magic overnight without the foundation of self-growth to stabilize it.
And others taught self-growth without having any kind of a clue of what to do when people started opening up their intuitive skills.
So this kind of thing gets you in the loony bin, right? Because you're like, well, I'm going crazy. Both groups have a ceiling that lacks integration. So we strove to bridge that gap when we got together as a healing team. And if you stay to the end, we'll show you how you can reap the rewards of our hard work, because that's what we're doing now.
Like I said, you get to steal our brains, literally.
So I want to say hi to Gina and Aaron and Megan coming on today with us. So now that you guys know who we are a little bit, we want to know how we can help you, because that is what we do.
That is our freaking mission. So let us know your greatest challenge in the comments, and I will personally go back and drop a free resource that will help you with that challenge. And if we don't have one yet, we'll make one.
That's what we stay up nights to do. So among other things, if you guys have any questions, sushi. I'm talking about sushi. And as we go, drop them in the comments. If we don't get to them live, we will get to them on the replay, because your questions are very important to us. And that's how we get the ideas for what you need and is relevant for our videos.
Yep. And if you're watching live, give us a hashtag live tribe.
If you're watching on the replay, give us a hashtag replay family. I don't know why we love those hashtags right now, right?
Replay family, or are we doing replay fam?
Replay fam. whatever you want. I think we can read.
Now it's time for the good stuff.
All right. So guys, are you tired of feeling like an imposter? Raise your hand. What if there were a way to overcome imposter syndrome without faking it?
Because let's be honest, don't you already feel like you're faking it?
I hate that fake it till you make it thing. I mean, yeah, we got to do it sometimes, but I kind of hate that term. I really do. So we're going to break down imposter syndrome, what it is, where it came from, and some simple tricks to break the habit, plus stay to the end. And we've got some good news for you guys. You know, we've been talking about it. It's coming up.
Yep. So here we go. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go.
So there he goes.
And I went.
Oh, okay. So quick recap on the definition. An estimated 70%. That's a lot of people. And the other 30% are psychopaths. So
or they're just faking it.
They're like,
they're faking it. Psychopaths
30% are not all that. So the 70% of people will experience imposter syndrome at least once in their life.
Been there, done that.
So like we said in the last 4 episodes, go back and watch them if you haven't. It is the persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of your own efforts or skills.
Yep, and that would be the definition of imposter syndrome.
Yes. Okay. Gina says strengthening and trusting my gifts. Okay, we're going to drop a resource for you,
Gina.
Gina.
I've got you. I'll get back to that when we're done here. So where did this term come from? Where did imposter syndrome come from? Where did that feeling of being a fraud come from?
So it came from somewhere, and this is where we're getting to, and the gist of what we do in our work. So you can get rid of something if you can get rid of the source. So,
like, for instance, if you've got a clog in the septic tank, you can keep spraying air freshener all over to cover up that poopery smell. But that clog is still going to be there, and you're going to go broke buying air freshener. So just stop it, because you're afraid of the poop.
I was going to give a little bit of a different analogy, but he took it. So you get the poop analogy. So basically, because you're afraid of the poop, right? So here is the general source of the poop.
Most of your patterns, positive or negative, are set in place by roughly 8 to 13 years old. Anything before that, you accept as basically gospel. This is the actual reality because you don't know any different. When you get to be about 8 to 13 is when you start developing what we call the critical mind.
So whatever kind of pack mentality as a child you have, and I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way. You could have a positive pack mentality, or you could have a negative pack mentality. Whatever that pack mentality we experienced as a child now starts playing out in our adult life under the surface.
It's like the Leviathan or the Kraken. Anyway, so
I was trying to do a shark the best I could. So
shark. Okay, that was actually pretty good.
I was trying.
This can come from any number of sources, whether family dynamics, social groups, maybe the neighborhood bully, school, teachers, church, any kind of religious upbringing.
You kind of get the picture. So
you get it.
So we wonder what is wrong with us because it seems so hard to reach, like not being an imposter, but really it is as simple as a miswire in our brain.
And that's where it comes from. That's kind of, so now that we've got a better idea of where the poop comes from, can you change poop?
So speaking of the mind, I want to start thinking about our minds in a different way, because I think when we have a program we don't like in our life as an adult, it's the enemy. We make it the enemy. So I want to talk about the power of your mind. We want to talk about your mind right now as a neutral instrument, not this big bad thing that's like operating against you.
So if you can understand that physically your mind is doing certain things in response to an emotional input, okay, it's giving you a feedback from what it is ingesting.
So the emotional input is like the gas in the car, right? And that's what's running it. So your mind is designed to keep you safe.
Yep.
Fear lets you know that there's danger, right? Simple. Let's talk about the emotion.
Right. And your mind protects you from danger. And the emotion of fear is very strong, which can rewire the brain and anchor a program like imposter syndrome deep underneath layers and layers of firewalls and protections.
Right. So like I said, if you look at this as a neutral instrument in your brain, those firewalls are there. It's just working as designed. We want to look at it in a neutral way, not this is a big enemy.
So why is this happening? Because on a primal level, you've got three things that you're deathly afraid of. One is judgment. Judgment is dangerous. If people find out who I really am, they're going to judge me.
Abandonment is dangerous. You're afraid of people will leave you if they see the real you.
Rejection is dangerous. You're afraid that you're going to get kicked out of the pack and die in the wild.
So after a while, these fears become subconscious. So the emotion is the gas, it's the trigger, it's the electrical impulse that starts the program at some point. And we all know that subconscious fears can drive your actions right off the cliff, right? Or they can drive them good fears, good emotions that put good programs in place to drive you into success. So
you can change the fears, which then change your actions and your responses to the stimuli that's coming in.
So I hope that makes sense. So I see a lot of people doing this kind of work in this kind of in our space, kind of looking at it like the enemy when it's not. It's just don't kill the messenger, right? The subconscious is just the machine that's running the program.
Yep.
It's a little bit harder to stick a disc in there and change the program. You got to do it a different way.
Yep.
So I want to check in with our people here.
So we've got some abracadabra magic to crush imposter syndrome. And if you stay to the end, we'll show you how to get on the list for that free session.
So how are you doing? So are you guys, is this making sense to you guys?
Let us know if this is making sense. Let us know that you can still hear us and see us.
Yes, because I know sometimes we get a little nerdy with our stuff. I just want to
shaking, white, and nerdy. Oh.
He does. Yeah, he's white and nerdy. Okay, so let's talk about subconscious patterns now that we kind of are getting into the mind.
Yep.
So how do these patterns get programmed?
So once the initial program is installed with the power of negative emotion.
This is I'm giving you guys a visual. This is the program.
I don't know that it works.
Okay.
It might. It gets reinforced every time that somebody or something even remotely similar to that initial big bang happens. So it's going to reinforce the program over and over and over again until it becomes this monotonous, magnanimous machine. Big freaking words.
Megalomaniac machine. So that's basically why years later you still have the response. Now the response is so automatic that it is very hard to find the root, because so many ghost programs and kind of often these decoy root situations start firing to distract you from the real program. It's don't look at this. Here's this problem. Maybe it's this.
Preservation of the program.
So that's not a broken thing. We always say I'm broken, fix me. That's not a broken thing. That's a highly sophisticated firewall that your brain is creating on that initial program that you created for a very good reason. It just sucks right now because it's not working for you anymore.
So this might not even be as bad as you're thinking, but it's also why it's so hard to find that root program, because your mind is wired to protect the hell out of you.
Just going stop.
It's going to keep you safe every day, every way.
This reminded me, as we were kind of talking about this live today, what we were going to talk about, it reminded me of that movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey. Raise your hand if you saw it. Great movie. It's where they go through a painful experience together, and they go find someone who's created a program to cover up the pain or erase the memory and take a shortcut back to happy. And I was like, it's like the air freshener solution David just talked about. Then they work really hard to heal the problem, only to find out that they were the ones who did this to themselves in the first place. So they get on this feedback loop. And I'm like, David, that's exactly what happens to your brain.
Yep.
So
absolutely. So now we're going to get into rewiring the mind. So now that we know that you've got this thing, it comes from some place inside of your mind, and that your mind is working as designed. Now we start getting into, now that we've talked a little bit about how the mind works, now we're going to get into how to hack the mind. Not like that movie, because we're trying to save you money on air fresheners. So don't be an eternal spotless mind.
Wow. Don't erase your
There's
brain,
no
kids.
there.
Do not erase your brain. So Hacking the mind is something that we think everybody should be excited about. I mean, we're excited about.
We totally are.
But hacking the mind is not for the faint of heart, or we wouldn't be doing so many things to avoid it. Firewall, decoy. This is not your route, right?
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
After all, you cannot create a badass life by hiding behind a sofa.
So in order to hack the mind, you have to be willing to go down the rabbit hole, right? Like how many of us have been down there several times?
Yep.
It's like, I got to go down there again.
And if you haven't been, I can guarantee you that on the other side of that rabbit hole, it is worth it to go into that dark, scary place once you get on the other side of it. Once you've done it a few times, then you know, I love going down this damn rabbit hole because of how much better I feel after I clean out my poop.
So but we all know we got to look at some not so pretty versions of ourselves and probably some events that scared the living daylights out of you at the time.
At the time. That is the key component, is at the time.
So in most cases, though, we find that just about everyone with the right support and the right know-how can hack the program and overwrite it. I want you, like I said, I want you to start thinking about your brain as neutral.
Yep.
It's not the enemy. It's not a broken program. It's just operating, and it's old software.
Yep. So we're not going to lie, this takes a lot of work, but so does having to spray air freshener over that poop smelling from the clogged sewer line for years and years. It's just going to smell shitty over time.
Yeah, we got to talk about these analogies in the future, but I guess poop in the, okay.
So before we continue, and we've got a little bit more, before we continue, we want to know, what was your greatest takeaway from this video? Let us know how this video changed your life in the comments.
So I'm thinking, keep your septic tank clean. That's,
Clean out the poop.
clean the pipes. So
let us know in the comments. The bonus tip and the good news: imposter syndrome is not an actual disorder, even though it feels like it at times.
I've heard some people say it's a disorder. It's not a disorder.
Right.
It's just a pattern of behavior. You are not broken.
Yep.
And you can change patterns and behaviors.
Yep. And the big reveal of our magical method is going to happen on that free session that I was talking about, on the secret weapon to crush imposter syndrome. Stay to the end and we'll reveal how you can get on that list.
All right. So
in order to sign up for this free session,
you got to sign up.
Yes.
In order to get the session, you got to sign up for the session.
But here's the thing. So in this session, we're going to do like an hour-long thing where you get to steal our secret weapon to crush imposter syndrome. Like I said, you get to jump inside of our brains so that you can break the pattern, rewire the brain, and step into your confidence without faking it until you make it. We're going to give you the system. Okay?
Yeah, for real.
But you have to show up. Now it's time for any questions that you might have. Drop any questions you have in the comments. If we don't get them live, we will answer them on the replay. If you're watching on the replay and you have questions, drop them in and we'll get back to them. While we wait for those to come in, we wanted to share what one of our Zen heads recently shared with us about their experience.
I love shouting out our Zen heads because it's so fun. We want to shout out Stephanie. She said, she wrote it to us recently. She said she loves the authenticity, the knowledge, and the experience. And yeah, thank you.
That is how we roll.
So she said, I watched one of your YouTube videos and was impressed by your authenticity, knowledge, and experience. I found the support of like-minded people. Each message or comment is always given attention and never ignored. We want you guys to know that we do pay attention to what you guys are saying, and we do want to respond and get your questions answered. So there's value in what you're receiving. You will have the best resource for development. So
thank you, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Thank you for sharing your experience. And anybody else, if you've got an experience of how we've changed your life or how any of the videos that we have done have changed your life, let us know in the comments. We want to spotlight you.
Yeah, we do love doing that. So anyway, we want to.
And Gina, I will get back to you.
We've already got something in mind.
Yeah, I got your resources.
So we have learned that self-growth and developing your intuition for that badass life go together like sushi, Sapporo, and sake.
And you could keep going around in circles, watching all of those other people doing the same thing everybody else is doing, or you could jump directly into our brains, plug directly into all of those unique shortcuts, signature mind hacks, and emotional ninja skills that have worked for thousands of our clients to step into their confidence, self-love, and personal power. so that they can trust themselves to live their purpose completely. You can do that.
You said like jump into my brain like 3 times.
I did. I want you to jump into my freaking brain.
Wow.
Come join us on that session to jump into the brain.
I'm like, it's not
you literal. Might get lost.
I'm kind of a literal person sometimes. It's not a literal thing we're talking about.
Right.
But it is time to share that secret weapon we've been talking about for 5 episodes to take that confidence from basic to badass in 90 seconds.
Because 90 seconds is all that it takes to make a decision. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep doing it the slow way, or come and join us on the bullet train?
We like the mind hacks and the shortcuts that work, not the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind shortcuts, but the real shortcuts. So Either way is wonderful, you guys, because you guys are awesome. You guys give us as much happy stuff as
I hope that we give to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
What do you need to get on the list and steal our secrets?
Easy. Click the link in the description, sign up for the webinar, and in seconds, you're going to be on the list to join us as we break down our unique method for crushing imposter syndrome. Let's do this, guys.
Absolutely. I'm stoked. For those of you who are just joining us, be sure to go and watch the replay. There's plenty of gold in there. If you like this video, hit that like button, smash it. If this video helped you in any way, share with a friend.
If you have any questions, like we said, let us know in the comments because we do love to hear from you.
For more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe
and click the bell to turn notifications on
so you are the first to know
when we drop a new video.
Oh boy, or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource, and the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that not only with us, but most importantly, with you leveling up your skills and creating your badass life, we absolutely honor and appreciate that. Thanks for watching.
And we will see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.